And there's a look down at the intersection of Yonge and Eglinton, where I just saw a cop pull someone over for making an illegal left turn. In fact, every turn at that intersection is illegal, unless you're operating a transit bus or emergency vehicle. And that's a view to the south. And there's a unfortunate view of me, but hey there. Today is Saturday, January 18th. The time is 3:44 p.m. and the temperature is about -1 degree Celsius. I'm here at the rooftop patio at the Yonge Eglinton Center. I did a video through this complex last week, or possibly the week before, I can't quite remember. And I had plans to go downtown today and record a few videos. But I think I'm going to hold off until tomorrow, or possibly later next week, as there is no subway service yet again on this portion of Line 1 between St. Clair and York Mills. Not seeing any shuttle buses roll through, but we will once we get down to street level. There's an entrance to Eglinton Station. So what I'm going to do is just go to Yonge Street and walk north up to the Yonge Lawrence Village neighborhood. Then I'm going to walk back, and I think maybe I'll take some side streets and make that a members video. But first I have to run the gauntlet of all this water dripping off the overhang there. There goes some shuttle buses. It was actually snowing earlier today. Not that much. Less than a centimeter in total, but I don't think we're going to get any more than that tonight. It's cold enough. I'm going to put a glove on my camera hand. Normally you'd be able to take this elevator to Winners, but Winners is being renovated. And this part is closed off. Oh, there's that cop with its lights on. I said pulled someone over. They could literally camp at this intersection all day and just pull people over left and right. I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment, as we get down to street level. There you can see you cannot access Winners until March 15th. You can go into the Yonge Eglinton Center and access part of Winners. But about half the store is currently closed off. There's a cop outside of that vehicle, but there are no left or right turns at this intersection. But despite those signs, that certainly doesn't stop cars, or rather drivers, from constantly trying to change or turn at this intersection. And we'll be walking past a parade of shuttle buses making their way down to St. Clair Station. As we go north, up familiar territory for me, the west side of Yonge Street. thing is brushing the snow off. The TTC said the line is closed for track work, and I think after 11 p.m. for all of next week, or at least Monday to Friday, they'll be closing the line down and running buses at night. I, like many people, just find it annoying and quite the inconvenience to have to take them. It's also a good excuse to go for a walk through this neighborhood instead. There's the Duke of Kent across the street. And a place I know all too well, Chipotle. Curious to see who moves into this spot. That used to be an Urban Outfitters, pretty prime retail, right on the corner here. This is a very oddly configured intersection. You definitely have to follow the signals here. See the sign there that says the 3-phase signal. Well, this guy's clearly running the red light. Standing room only in that shuttle bus. There's Pie, the Rosencrown. Absolute comedy. I believe they have a live band and DJs playing at Pie. That must be later at night. But hopefully the TTC is going to rectify those slow zones along this portion of the route, as it often takes a very long time to get from Eglinton down to Yonge. They gave a very vague reason for the closure on their website, saying track work. They have a number of reduced speed zones in effect, which are said to be sections of the track where it's not safe to go at full speed. There's a lot of construction just up ahead on this side of the street. Maybe we'll cross over to the east side of Yonge here. And they say in those zones, trains typically go between 15 and 25 kilometers per hour, but I call bullshit on that. There's like a person practically stepping on my heels as I walk. I'm gonna pull over and shake them off. I had a sandwich there after a live stream. It was quite good. There are slow zones in effect both ways between St. Clair and Davisville, which is just south of here, between St. Clair and Summerhill southbound, and Bloor-Yonge and Rosedale southbound. So with this closure being all the way up to York Mills, they're certainly not going to be tackling the more southern slow zones. There's a number of other slow zones as well on the other side of line 1. And there's a few on line 2. But quite disturbingly, I read somewhere that there are no intentions to permanently lift the slow zones, and that some will always be in place. Something that is completely unacceptable and never was the case before. Oh well, that's enough griping about our dysfunctional transit agency running the show. Oh, is this place closed? That's too bad. This is where I get my hair done. The old Capitol Theater, now turning into condos. There is a new park going in right behind the theater. It doesn't have a name yet or a finalized configuration. There's a temporary park in its place right now.
I saw this video.
The snowfall earlier today certainly led to some slushy and slippery conditions on the sidewalk. Groove Pilates and Wellness Bar coming soon. And this was a Sport Check. And that has been vacant for probably 5 years now. At least it feels like that. There's a good Thai spot across the street. This Impact Kitchen here is a newer addition to the neighborhood. And I gave it another chance after having a $26 relatively healthy meal there. But it seemed way too much for a fast food style meal. But now that there's no tax, I went back and had one for $23. And while it was quite good, it pales in comparison to the value you get in a Chipotle bowl. That was about half as filling. As we're back over to the west side of Yonge Street. The further north we go, the less dense the neighborhood gets. You'll notice there's not much in the way of high-rises east and west of Yonge Street. Whereas south towards Eglinton, there's a lot more. I think this might have used to be a Second Cup nut bar coming soon. Yeah, Timmy's is all boarded up. Oh, I didn't know they had a second floor. This has always struck me as kind of an odd location for a Club Monaco. I don't really think they would have the foot traffic here to support it. I've lived in this area since, I think, July of 2014.
As you run, it'll fall out.
But seldom I make it this far north unless I'm recording. Usually I'm going in the other direction. Australian Boot Company. There's Sporting Life. There used to be a second Sporting Life just south of here. They merged that store into this one towards the start of the pandemic. This is Lytton Boulevard, the Lytton Park neighborhood. West of here is quite affluent. Look south towards the ever-growing Yonge and Eglinton skyline. Cakes and Coffee. I've been there once. This is apparently the Uptown Yonge BIA area. I think the modern definition of uptown would be up near Shepherd. This is Glencairn Avenue coming up, where interestingly, west of here, there's a Glencairn subway station servicing a much lower density neighborhood between Eglinton West and Lawrence West, but there is no station on this side of Line 1. This is probably the longest point between two subway stations on Yonge Street where there's this kind of density. Certainly York Mills up to Shepherd is a long trek, but there's not a whole lot between those two stations. Whereas there is a fair bit between Yonge and Lawrence Station. There's Sheridan Nurseries. Apparently, we are in for a deep freeze starting tomorrow. I wanted to get out and get my steps in today. I'll probably be out making a video or two tomorrow. Things are going to be fairly quiet between here and Lawrence. Some gorgeous old apartment buildings. That one has to be a walk-up. Get some good exercise. We lived up on that 6th floor. It's one way to stay in shape. Although I guess it would be a nightmare if you broke or sprained something. We have a lot more of that type of building in Montreal than we do in Toronto. One of the richest neighborhoods in the entire city is just on the right, Lawrence Park. There's the park that goes by the same name. That'll connect you to a ravine. I think it's someone getting honked at. I think it's the Burke Brook. Yeah, we're gonna stay on this side. I think the last few times I recorded this way, I was on that side of the street. And that'll lead you over to Duplex Avenue. And on the other side of Duplex is a ravine that'll take you all the way through pretty much to Avenue Road. Next to the site of Havergal College, a rather exclusive all-girls school. It's called the Chatsworth Ravine. Speaking of ravines, I'm hoping to do a snow-covered ravine walk next week. Does your home need a heat pump? No, it does not. Bitcoins and altcoins sold here. I bet you get an absolutely terrible rate trading for those in a store like that. That shuttle bus was packed. Church of the Blessed Sacrament. Blessed or blessed? And there's the 97 bus. That one makes regular stops. That's the surface route bus that would be running anyways. And that is much needed, especially with such a big distance between Eglinton and Lawrence. Not everyone has the ability to walk such a large distance between stops. It's important to have an intermediate or an intermediary service. Another Line 1 shuttle bus going south. Speaking of buses, you currently can't grab a bus at Lawrence Station. There's a bus terminal underground, but the station's undergoing renovations. Private property, TTC vehicles only. Probably an Uber Eats driver. Oh, the George H. Locke Library branch is undergoing a renovation. So this is where Lawrence Station is. And this used to be a Starbucks, but that spot has been vacant for quite a while. We're going to go north to the next block. $1 donut. Will you buy any hot brewed coffee? This is a nice area, the Yonge Lawrence Village. It's not the best footwear for these conditions, lady. Hopefully she stays upright. But in fairness to her for slipping around, this sidewalk is quite slippery. This is a very long block with no streets. Turn out of it. There's the brewing brokers across the street. I've seen another one similar to that in the annex. I think it's an eyeglass store and coffee shop. That one's a realtor and cafe. It's a neat use of space. They're renting an office anyways. You could head down to the subway station, but they've got it blocked off. Oh, there's a sign there that says, "What are you doing, fool?" Maybe not exactly that choice of words, but that wraps up our walk from Eglinton up to the Yonge Lawrence Village. I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do on YouTube, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Giant Strides, and there is a super thanks button if you wish to say thanks that way. And I do have videos and live streams walking through this neighborhood up on the channel, and I'm sure I'll do one again at some point in the near future. And I'm gonna turn around and head back down some residential streets and make a exclusive video for channel members and Patreon supporters. So As I stumble around, thank you for watching. Oh my goodness, there's actually stuff in here. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Yoink!